白色也换了。那个方式是没有这个了。
He's got this mic running live so that we can hear.
Go for that one.
Beautiful table discussion.
It's just shit talking and jokes.
Yeah.
那个跟他去啊。
Yeah, sure. It's on the computer.
我有选择吗？
哦，有选择哈，对。
Kai's the name of my dog.
我对这个也是蛮长的。
Yeah, K-I.
好，两个都有。
Where did you get that?
等一下吧，没有吧？这个也是不错吧？那个所以可以打，那个还可以打吗？这个守住啊。
Yeah.
Right. 这个那个啦，这样也是嗲嗲的，这个我也是惨，好 ，OK 了，可以。
So you're happy with it?
是不是？
That's confidence right there.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Well,
Yeah, that's what we end up with.
It doesn't matter.
你要不要问他们？
what are you more
现在我跟你这两个，你要哪一个？我觉得比较好，这两个。
Yeah, oh, same here.
我随便。
But yeah.
那你这个，我给你这个的，可以这样，对，这个。
I know you can take it.
我们第一个。
I know what that is.
哪里？等一下。
Yes, you will.
你觉得我对哪个？你还打这个？我觉得差不多。可以了。
Okie-dokie.
Yep. I should. So what are we?
Okay.
Last pairings?
Morning everyone, welcome back to day 2 of the OTC, the Oceanic Team Championships, and we've got a very interesting match first up with one of our mercenary teams, the Bad Motivators, and that will be Michael Turner running Scum with a very interesting triple Star Viper list against Singapore with Desmond running a reasonably traditional double Jedi Rick Oli list.
Ole!
No Anakin though, which is an interesting choice. I think that's probably to get 7B on both ships. So he's running Obi and Plo.
Yeah. I think people are finding that 5s are usually adequate.
Yeah.
You don't need the 6. Obviously, Anakin's ability helps too, but
and with people bidding so heavily with the 6, often it's better to say, okay, you can have your bid in the 6, and I'll take the extra points and accept and run a 5.
100%.
Save those points, just fit a lot more in. And as we can see, he's running R2 Astromech 7B on 2 Jedi, which we know how effective that is. And of course, Sense on Obi-Wan.
We saw how inadequate calibrated lasers were yesterday. They just couldn't put the damage in.
I think a big chunk of that was because he didn't have the bid and he was out PS'd.
Yeah.
And maybe that decision to joust the T70s wasn't
that
the
decision
best.
was the worst, yeah.
Michael Turner's squad, he's a very good Star Viper player, quite experienced dating back into First Ed with those unconventional barrel rolls. He's running a reasonably light Guri 64 with Lone Wolf advanced sensors and a shield upgrade. Dalen Oberos with Predator and a Black Sun Assassin with Predator. So the 3 Star Vipers.
Do you want to post up on Oz X that we're live?
When I get this list stuff going.
Alright. I need to find the proper link.
So
Choose the one from yesterday.
for those that were there early, we did have the pairings done live on stream before we went live with the mics. And you got to see that pairing in action. This is the match we're showing, and we think, especially with the different list with the Star Vipers, this is going to be a very interesting match. It'll be interesting for us to catch which Star Viper is which. I didn't see what order they went down in. We will assume the one at the bottom with the charge token is Guri. That'll be the Lone Wolf charge, I would assume.
Yep.
So I would imagine Guri's going to turn up the screen and run and join the other 2. Try and drag
Probably
through
the
the
best
rocks.
To not joust those 3 ships.
So dials are down and we're just waiting for that for every table to be ready for the official announcement of time to start.
Free Folk in New South Wales are still doing their pairings, so we're just waiting on them.
Of course, Travis Foss was late arriving,
Standard.
so they were a little bit delayed in getting their pairings done. Travis being so local, I think he is actually the player closest to the venue.
Oh, is he? I thought James lived just around the corner.
James is just around the corner. Michael's not far, and then Travis is.
Like, could walk.
Travis could have walked here potentially.
And still turns up last.
Still turns up last.
Good job, Trav.
Be here at 8:30, and we get the message at 8:50. I'm just leaving now.
No, there was some confusion. Some of the other players thought we were starting at 9 as well, but
Yeah. But no, that
we
pairing
wanted to start
process
the
is
round up
important.
at 9.
Who do we have on this?
Desmond Lau on the right and Michael Turner on the left.
And we've just heard the announcement that time has begun for the first round, so players is double checking those dials that have been set. And we should be into this very interesting matchup.
I'm just going to do the admin stuff, right?
Now, one thing we've seen from all the Singapore players is they are very deliberate and very meticulous. So you can see there him, Desmond, double and triple checking his dials before giving the okay. And that's been something pretty consistent with them every round. It's been that deliberate mathematical play.
Desmond has come to a lot of the Queensland regionals and Queensland events.
Yep.
He flies over for quite a few of them. And he's always been like that. Very, very, got to be sure of himself. Double check, triple check. Here we go.
And we saw that with XY last week and at the Sydney System Open.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was lucky enough to be at Worlds the year Justin won, and we saw that in his run through the finals as well, right into the final. Just that very deliberate, very calculated. He's going to make sure he plays the maths game.
Yep.
Which, it's intelligent play.
Oh, they are very good. They were. Did you just do that?
Yeah. Just a test of the
Okay, cool. So if I get rid of that one, we don't need that one. Just keep these two.
Yep.
So once we figure out which Star Viper is which, we can mark the colours on the.
So
'cause
that
that's
one
something
is
I've learned how to do now.
moving first. So the red one is the Black Sun Assassin. So
Yeah,
what do we
just
do?
click on the little ship icon, and then
Ooh.
he's the red one. So
he's
just
the
go up in the
red
top
one.
corner, grab a red, and hit OK.
And we know that the predominantly blue one is Guri.
That didn't work.
You're not updating.
Oh, we might just have to refresh.
Timer's not. The timer's stopped?
Our
Timer's
timer's
stopped as
running,
well.
but the timer's stopped on the feed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll just refresh that feed for you so we can be giving you live updates. Rest assured the timer is actually counting down.
So Guri didn't bug out, but she definitely
She still
stalling.
can.
Yeah, she's definitely.
I mean, she has the opportunity next turn with those advanced sensors to barrel roll out and do a 3-turn away
Go wherever the fuck she
and
wants.
go.
Yeah.
But with those 3 5s, and having the initiative, Desmond definitely does have that advantage against her in being able to move after. And he's certainly indicating his intention there with that 4 forward boost. And a roll. It's interesting, I thought he may have chosen to do a bank boost and then a roll out. Because you find that 5 forward bank boost roll actually gives you range to your opponent's
Yeah.
deployment zone. He may have been able to throw a shot at Guri that she wasn't expecting. So we may see this from Rick. And then 5 forward. Now looking at the base plate, it looks like that yellow one is Obi-Wan. And the purpley blue one is Plo that he's moving
I
now.
don't think he's going to fit that.
It's going to be tight. Yep, just confirming no range. And back to dials for the next round. So yeah, my expectation this turn from Guri would be that advanced sensors roll back and up, and then the 3-turn up towards the top of the board. But if Desmond's expecting that and goes hard for it, he may get shots, at which point maybe he is better to roll down and gun forwards. That would certainly be the surprise move.
I would be hedging my bets at this point. I feel like the 5 forward from Rick is an obvious choice.
Yep.
And Plo covers Guri coming down the bottom.
Yep.
And Obi-Wan, I mean, that's player's choice, right? Do you go up with Rick to cover the escape, or do you stay down with Plo to cover the bottom?
And see, Guri can certainly be tanky enough with a calculate token and a focus token.
Yeah.
That if Michael's thinking that Desmond's going to play that mathematical game and play the optimal and play the mathematical, that roll down towards the bottom of the board, gun it forward, and exchange shots with just Plo
Yeah.
could actually take him by surprise and have him starting to second guess himself. I mean, the mathematical safe choice, and what I would probably do, is the roll up 3-turn away. But the gung-ho aggressive is certainly an option. Just double checking those dials. One more time.
Yeah.
That's something I probably need to do more of in my own game. I'll double check my dials. I'll decide, no, I want to change that one. And then I forget that now impacts on the other ship that I've already locked in. So Desmond there, after he's changed one, he goes back, double checks, and has to change another one as well.
Yep.
So getting right in there with Dalen, giving himself the option to engage or bug out next turn with a hard one either way.
If this is a bait and switch and he's
Interesting.
he's going in hard.
So now I'd imagine he'd
Then
roll
it'll be-
towards the bottom board edge.
Right there.
Yep.
Exactly.
And he's going to bank on being able to have a ship at range 1 to get that focus token. Or have nothing that can
This
shoot
may be
him.
a really good choice. If Rick goes straight up,
Yeah, as we
then
said,
Dalen's
we're
got shots on
imagine
Rick.
Rick's...
yeah, there it is.
And as I said, it's the key of and a trait of all of the Singaporean players we've seen here. They are very good at playing that mathematical, logical game. And so I think Michael's perhaps
It's whether he
deciding that the early risk-taking
does
will
he
catch him off guard.
Did he hedge his bets with Obi-Wan is the question. Like I reckon Plo might be in a good position to have
Yeah.
shots on Guri, but it's whether Obi-Wan went up or down.
I'd imagine Obi-Wan will have done the 2-bank.
2-bank up.
2-bank up towards the centre of the board.
Yeah.
But I can see Plo having locked in a 3 or 4 straight, knowing he can boost to join the rest of them in formation after that, at which point he is going to catch Guri in a very vulnerable position.
I have a feeling he might be going straight, but I think he might be going a bit slower than that. I think he might... If Guri did go for the escape and try to fly by,
Yep.
then I think he may have be hedging his... Oh, yeah, he did.
He has. So
That's
at
nice.
this point, does he... I think that's got arc.
It does. Yeah, he's
But
is that
choosing...
necessary?
Well,
He's
see-
got a better view than us, so it might
Yeah,
have
so
been.
I wasn't certain it had arc, but that certainly does.
He also
and that will have
puts
been
him
a-
out of Dalen's shot too.
Yeah, and that will have been a force roll with the fine-tuned controls, and then his target lock, the obvious
That's a
choice
two
for
or,
Jedi.
2 or 3. 3.
No, the 4.
Is that 4?
That's the 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that was my guess from him, because that then would have given him...
Oh, that looks real close to a bomb. No?
that would have
Awesome.
given him the option to use that fine-tuned control boost
Yeah, yeah.
and rejoin that formation beside Rick. Or
And he called
Behind
that
Rick.
pretty good.
yeah, so I would imagine Guri's going to be in a little bit of trouble here, boosting to guarantee the range 1.
I think he thinks he's out.
Yeah, I think it looked in based on the size of Obi-Wan's base, but again, they play the mathematical game. Better to be safe. It doesn't.
Yeah, don't take the risk.
It costs a force, and he's going to be wearing 8 double modded dice, or she, I should say. He's going to be wearing 8 double modded
So
dice.
Guri first.
Into Obi. Surely he doesn't spend the focus here.
Yes. Yeah.
Do your guys' mind.
Surely you play this safe and just say, no, I'm going to need that focus later.
Jesus.
Obviously
asking them to
discussing
decide.
something.
He's asking them to decide whether they. So he's rolled one. It's bounced out of the box,
Yep.
and they're asking if ones that go out of the box count, and whether he can keep that hit,
Yep.
or whether he's got to roll it again. And Tom has told them that as long as they're consistent and they decide between themselves whether it counts or not, they just
Okay.
have to play it the same way throughout the game.
I think normally I would say as long as it lands flat on the table, it is okay. However, yesterday,
Oh, hey, look, we're on.
yesterday they were playing that anything out of the box must be re-rolled. So I would have liked to have seen that precedent stick.
Yeah.
I gave them my little spiels.
Let's shuffle over a bit. Everybody wants to see my beautiful Free Folk shirt.
So spending the lock from Plo. And there's 4 hits.
Boom. Spend the force. Have 4.
This is where he spends that focus, surely.
So he's going to lone wolf the
The
blank.
miss.
Spend the focus.
And we'll take 2. Now, because of that shield upgrade, she won't be wearing the crit from that shot, but still
I've got a
needs to
feeling she'll
wear.
be wearing one from this.
But still needs to wear this
oh,
one.
she's wearing one of them. Force that. Yep. Oh, spend the
Oh.
focus. That's all. She's gone.
That should be all she wrote. And
Lone Wolf is once per turn now, isn't it?
Lone Wolf is what
Yeah.
spend the charge.
Yes. Oh, shocking start for Michael.
So that's worst case scenario from Michael. And I think Desmond took that initial engagement so well with having the options that even if Guri had bugged out and done that 3 turn up this turn as I
Yeah.
suggested, he wouldn't have got any range 1 shots, but he would have still got 3 shots on it.
So Dalen range 2 through the rocket Rick.
Through the
Michael, yeah, the obstacle.
through the gas obstacle. This is not doing it.
They're all
But
the same.
between the gas cloud and the evade token,
He's
he's
laughing.
already safe.
Oh,
Look,
probably
he
should
can't
ask
he
that.
can't add the obstacle dice with that
His,
roll.
they are the stream dice, right? Because they were terrible yesterday, and now they're on fire. Michael's going to field dice this game from the start. I
Oh,
guarantee
yeah.
it. That first round. I mean
I mean,
I'll be
that
honest. That
wasn't-
confrontation should never have happened.
No, that was a mistake on Michael's part to not bug out the first turn. But those dice weren't entirely unexpected. Like if he complains about poor dice there, with 4 dice target lock force, you'd expect 4 hits.
2 of, right?
And Michael rolled 2 pictures both times out of 3. So, yeah, they were all focus symbols, but he got 4 pictures out of 6 dice.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to feel like it was the dice, and it absolutely wasn't. Like, that was 100% Desmond setting up that engagement perfectly.
Yes.
Why does this thing keep turning off? So Isaac's down there giving him instructions, I think. Maybe moving the dice tray. Not sure.
So for anyone that is late to the party and just joining us, Michael has failed to bug out with Guri, tried to be aggressive, and wore range 1 shots from both Jedi, which deleted her in a single turn.
Yeah. He tried the short range flank,
Yep.
and Desmond saw it coming and hedged his bets
Yeah.
and just deleted it off the board.
And I think as much as I would have played that safe play and run Guri immediately, I think he was trying to play the player and not the squad.
Yeah.
Knowing how deliberate and how mathematical Desmond is, I think he tried to go the ultra aggressive, potentially suboptimal approach to try and catch Desmond off guard, and it hasn't paid off.
All right. Gamble, can we get you to do some judge calls and doing this one just
Yeah,
for a
if
bit?
you, for most of the day, if you could do the judge calls, that would be great, because Team Alliance is kind of, I don't like making those calls.
I'm
Thank
back.
you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the 2019 Oceanic
baby.
Team Championships. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good now.
You feeling
You're
pretty
here.
good? Yeah, now I'm here, yeah. I got a banana, so I've got breakfast. I had to give all my avocado toast to Marcus because he gave me a lift here. So I got in the van, right? And I had 2 pieces of avocado toast, and I kind of gestured it to him, and I was like, hey, look at this. And then he kind of reached
Hey,
for
look
one,
at
and I
this.
was like, oh, yeah, all right. And I gave it to him just like out of the goodness of my heart. And then he had a bite, and he was just like, should I eat all of it? And I was like, I mean, yeah. So he just ate my avocado toast. So yeah, it happens, right? It happens.
Oh, I mean, not to me because I don't eat avocado toast.
No, fair enough. Okay, so what do we got here? So we've got Guri's not dead, is she?
Guri is absolutely dead.
Really dead.
What
So,
happened?
okay, can I? Are you good?
Sorry.
Can you give us the scribbles and I'll try and explain it a bit?
Gee whiz.
Yeah,
Happened quick.
very. Desmond played it perfectly,
Right.
and then 2 range 1 shots from Plo and Obi-Wan. Both with target lock
That'll do
and
it.
force, I believe.
Yep.
And yeah,
So just real quick,
Four hits from each.
do we know who's got the bid? So we've got a 56. That's a
Guri
93
was
point
Guri
squad.
was shooting first.
Guru's moving and shooting first. Okay, so that's a
Yes.
pretty bad matchup for Michael. If we've got 3 initiative 5 aces moving before him. After him. Yep. So Guri is moving with moving before all of these initiative 5 aces
Well,
on Desmond's side.
she ain't even there anymore, so it's irrelevant.
It is, yep, exactly. So we don't have to talk about it. So we've got Dallin and the Black Sun Assassin. Now, Dallin, I believe, is the blue one. Okay. Yeah. So Dallin is slippery enough to maintain arc on these guys, but realistically, it's probably a little too late for that kind of stuff. So none of these aces have taken any damage. Is that correct? On Desmond's side?
No.
Okay.
So he had a range 2 through the gas cloud shot at Rick with
Mm.
Dalen,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously is not going to do a thing.
Yep.
And Guri did nothing to Obi-Wan.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, so it's probably just a case of trying to get some points and not get tabled.
We've got drawing pictures. Okay, so
Yeah, and
From-
Obi-Wan's going to do the same thing. Yep.
from around here,
Yep.
and we've got, where are we? Obi-Wan around here, Plo around here. Guri came 3 bank and barreled out and ended up here,
Yep.
facing that way, trying to head these 2 off, thinking that they were going to go
That'd
up.
be aggressive. Yep.
So he thought, and Anakin went straight 3, maybe a 2,
Obi-Wan, yep.
barrel rolled in, all that.
Yep.
And Plo just came straight up here, both range 1,
Blew them apart.
fully modded.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
And they
gone.
took no damage
No.
in return. That's
So Desmond's laughing right now. He's in a great place.
yeah, absolutely. Yep. So depending on the outcome of this game, I think it would be really nice to get some Singaporeans on stream. Sorry, as in like in the commentary box and just
Lam?
chat about. Well,
Or a
Lam
game?
doesn't-
Or a player?
Sorry, a player, but the coach doesn't want to come on. He reckons he's got a sore throat.
Oh, okay.
I think he might be a bit camera shy.
That's okay.
Yeah, which is fine. But it would be good to get some of the guys in and talk about how they're experiencing the event and stuff like that. Some just consistent hits from these
So
Jedi here, right?
This is Plo.
Yeah. Should be fine with the spend. He doesn't want
And
to
he
take the
made that
shield.
mistake last time though.
Oh, he spent
He
it.
spent his focus on the first one. I mean, he had to.
Yeah.
And then the second one just went straight through 4 hits.
I think he might be taking the shield there. Yep, he's taking a shield off of Dallin. He's probably going to try and get a shot into.
He's expecting this
Rick.
one to be better.
I just don't think you. I think you probably do.
Yeah. Now he's going to want to spend that focus. Now
Yep,
he's going
now
to
he
want to
definitely
spend
spends
that
the
focus.
focus. Absolutely. Takes no damage there. He's not going to have a shot into Rick. He might have a Predator reroll though. Sorry, he's not going to have any mods into Rick, but he might
Yeah.
have Predator. Likely
he's
going to do
good.
no damage at all. Because Rick went, I think, a 4 or a 5 forward. That's the beautiful thing about Rick. I think he's the trap if you go after him.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's just so cheap. Like, he's 47 points in this squad.
We discovered that yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. With Ben Doyle
Yeah.
and Morgan. Yep, taking a focus.
And
he's
nothing,
no damage
standard.
at all. Exactly. So unfortunately, this is going to be 53 minutes of wrap up for Desmond, most likely, unless Dallin is slippery though, so we can have some uses of his ability to try and get behind these Jedi. But the reposition ability of these guys is just too much. Too much. So as a judge, Mark, walk us through some of the key decisions that were made yesterday. I think the stream was pretty keen on finding out what happened with New South Wales.
Oh, we're okay with talking about that?
Yeah, of course. So
Okay,
I think it's an interesting thing to talk about from like a judging perspective now that we have the floor rules.
Yeah, but whenever there's a ruling where I may be right, but I feel bad, I'd rather not like spread it about. Do you know what I mean? Like,
fair enough. As in, like, you don't want to set precedent, or?
I'm okay with that. Like, I feel like we made the right decision. So one of the players yesterday was playing four-star Vipers.
Yep.
And was taking evades as an action for an entire game. Until, 10 minutes left?
6 minutes left.
6 minutes left when his opponent actually realised that he didn't have evade actions. And look, the decision wasn't taken lightly. We had 3 of us involved in making it, especially since I was wearing a Queensland shirt.
Yeah.
And didn't want to just start throwing out game losses to opposition teams' players, right? 100%. So we made sure that there was 2 New South Wales guys to help me make that decision.
Yeah, including me. Yeah.
But yeah, we had to give him a game loss. Like, that's just
so
outright can't be done.
Obviously, this is a community-driven event, and we are using the floor rules. And Tim Horsberg is our head judge, and he was the head judge of the System Open last weekend. So, in an official event, like, what would be the sanctions there? Would you be giving like these new infringement points and trying to hand those things out?
I think the game loss can straight up replace infringement points. So. Getting infringement points is a way lesser penalty than getting a game loss.
Yeah.
So instead of giving a warning, you would straight up game loss and don't worry about points.
Okay. Sure.
In that situation, it was close. Like, the thing is, in a tournament, I may have, if we'd have decided that, like Tim said, right, focus versus evade across the whole game, mathematically probably isn't much different.
Yep.
And he suggested giving him like the maximum penalty and giving him points, and in this type of event, penalty points are not effective because once you get to 5 or 7, whatever type of event you're running, you'd have to disqualify them. Right? That's the result of penalty points. You can't disqualify a player in a team event without disqualifying a team.
Exactly.
And we are fucking super not going there. Right?
100%.
As much as I would like New South Wales to not be in the way of Queensland, we are not going there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it had to be done, and they accepted it.
Yeah, they were pretty good sports about it. I think it was the captain's call from the New South Wales team was just to say, give us the harshest penalty that you can, move on. And so it ended up being a 4-2 to
New South Wales. Anyway.
Bad motivators won 2 of the games with one of the DQs. Oh, not DQs, game losses. What do you think about infringement points in general? Like, how do you find those types of issues?
When we've sort of settled into it, I think it might be usable.
Yep.
At the System Open, I was super reluctant to give anybody penalty points because you got to understand, like, they only just came out.
Yeah.
The floor rules. Most people haven't even read them. Most people don't understand. Most people aren't ready to get given penalty points for making a silly mistake.
Yep.
Right. Despite it being, a top level event. And this is Australia, right? We try and casual everything as much as we can.
For sure.
Even me and even Tim. Tim takes this stuff super seriously as well. And I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if the penalty point system is harsh enough, and sometimes I feel like it's too harsh. It's every problem I come across, I deal with on a case by case basis. This is why I don't have discussions on the internet anymore, because you can't just make a blanket decision like this is going to result in this.
Yep.
You just can't. Every judge has to make the decision at the table, and players have to respect it. Like, floor rules help us. They give us a backup and say, look, this is what it says. I'm going to go with this. But the floor rules are also sort of fairly open to interpretation by judges with the amount of points you can give out.
Yep.
If you know what I mean. Like, what kind of warning is deserved. So it's a good thing overall, definitely. But the penalty point system, we're going to see how it works.
You say you're a bit dubious about how long it's going to take place to settle into it, basically.
The top tier players, I don't think it will take them long at all. I think most of them have already read it and understand what's going to happen. But
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the time, the top tier players are likely not those that are going to get the infringement points, correct? Yes and no? I mean, that's the
Maybe.
issue, right? Like, so it's hard, and what we were worried about as an Australian community is because we're relatively in a friendly way, we're quite bad mannered. So, as in, like, our very casual lingo is pretty swear orientated. Like, we're gonna have a hard time keeping this stream PG, but it's not like offensive. It's just kind of we use a lot of foul mouth language.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really difficult, and I was worried about some of my mates in X-Wing because they'll roll dice and they'll just swear, and like in the floor rules, that's effectively an infringement point.
So we cleared that up before.
huge roll.
I know, right?
That's a pretty good roll as well.
These dice were terrible yesterday.
They
Now
were.
they're on
Now
fucking
they're just
fire.
on fire. Oh, direct hit.
Direct.
Yeah, sorry, continue.
So where was I? The swearing. So we had a conversation before the system open started on the Friday afternoon about Australia not being quite compatible with the anti-swearing rules, right? And the result was if you roll dice and they're shit, and you go, oh shit, or oh fuck, no one's gonna have a problem with that.
Yeah.
If you're aggressive, if you're
someone
swearing
else.
at your opponent,
Yeah.
and you're actually being abusive or aggressive to somebody, that is where the rules kick in, and you've just got to start punishing people for that. Because nobody wants that anyway. Even in Australia, like swearing's more of a friendly thing here.
Yeah.
Anybody who starts
Aggressively.
even if they're not swearing, if you start being aggressive to somebody or abusive to somebody without swearing, I'm gonna start penalising.
For sure.
Right? You don't be a dick.
I think the interesting thing though is that once aggression starts here in Australia, swear words usually drop off. So it's
funny,
kind
eh?
of it's a really weird vibe. So just for any international listeners, I apologise if we're a bit foul-mouthed, but it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we mean it in any offence at all.
The C word is, people tend to find that more offensive no matter where you are.
Yeah.
But
here
again,
it's,
I use it quite often.
Me too.
In a friendly manner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's
Like
hard.
I don't know any other word to call Rob Crumlish when I see him other than that.
Yeah, it's hard because I went over to the system open in Arizona in January, and I had to I had to really try
And tone it down.
and turn my swearing down and turn my language down, and it's definitely something that I'm conscious about. So infringement points do worry me in that regard. So
Overseas, maybe. I don't know. Like, I speak to a lot of overseas judges, but I don't think anyone. They see it as a bit of a meme at the moment. Is having points for swearing is a bit of a meme because it's. I guess it should be clearer in the rules to say sort of aggressive swearing
at your opponent
is a penalty.
directed,
Yes,
yeah.
but that goes, like I said, that goes for not swearing as well. If you're aggressive and abusive to your opponent, whether you're swearing or not, that's the penalty.
It's just a negative experience, right?
Yeah, blanking out and going fuck, or heroic, whatever.
Yeah, effectively the same thing.
Nobody should be
Penalised for that.
penalised for that at all.
Yeah. So we actually saw a lucky shot from this Black Sun Assassin result in half points off of Obi-Wan Kenobi here. However, Obi-Wan does have the regen charge, so likely a 5 forward or a 5k turn with a regen to effectively regain or stay above these half points is possible. This is a really uphill battle for Michael.
And recommended.
Yeah. A disengage with Obi. That's the beautiful thing about these Republic Aces is that they can engage and hit so hard, and then the disengage turn is just so hard to counter.
Yep.
So even if we had, say, the red Black Sun Assassin Star Viper here was not stressed, even with a reposition or a turnaround, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to catch a 5 forward off of Obi or a 5 forward off of Plo, and then the repositions after that. It's just really hard to counteract. And that's why we saw squads such as Ben Doyle's with double arc SFs, and you can do those slow moves and stay in the engagement, doing so well yesterday. That was a fantastic go. Here we go. What is the time? Not even 10. Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. So, getting back to judge calls.
Yep.
There is one that I would like to get out there for everybody listening. Measuring range and checking for obstruction.
Yep.
So I got called over to check if a shot was obstructed, and I, being, know what I'm doing, measured from corner of the base to corner of the base, and it was obstructed. And the player was like, no, you're doing it wrong. Moved it over to the cardboard.
Right.
And was like, do it from there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's still obstructed, but no.
Okay.
Right. So I can't actually think of a single instance where you measure from or to cardboard. Okay, you use the cardboard for checking the arc, but once you know the ship is in arc, measuring range is always done from base to base. Never measure range from the cardboard.
See, that's a really knowledgeable thing to know because I have been playing for a long time and I always measure from cardboard to base.
Do you know what?
What?
I think it's a New South Wales cultural thing. Right?
Yeah, it
I
might
think
be.
that's something that's gone around and everyone sort of got used to it, and then somebody will go, no, you do it this way. And
Yeah.
Because they were both New South Wales players.
Interesting, yeah, because I've always, and being a New South Wales player myself, I've always measured from cardboard to base,
Yeah.
which is actually quite logistically difficult as well.
It is.
Yeah,
And it's
because-
not recommended. Do you want one of these?
And it's quite subjective. So It Devours, we actually had, Garden Variety Scrub did reply to you there. It was a Star Viper that didn't have any evades. So this turn, I actually think that the turnarounds off of Rick was unnecessary largely. I think he could have just done a 3 hard and then maybe boosted out of arc and gotten some tokens because I know that he's moved quicker, but a Rick without defensive modifications is still a very fragile Rick. You know, it's effectively like Suntir with no mods. And just 2 shields, luckily, but a conditional extra dice. Unless he's trying to wipe out this Black Sun Assassin as quickly as possible.
I think that's the plan. Like, he's just trying to punish him, but that's how mistakes get made. Like, that's where...
Yeah. I mean, he's so far ahead right now, he doesn't need to. I know he probably doesn't want to play that game, and he probably might want to make an interesting game for the stream. But, I mean, we
I've
saw
lost the table audio.
a couple of times... Gellin, cheers to that, mate.
What's that? Oh, cheers.
Okay, so Mjor Thumb, that's actually a really interesting point.
What's that?
It's
Major Tom?
Or was it Major Tom?
I'm guessing. I
Major
don't
Tom?
know.
Yeah, that's probably a better. I thought it was like some Scandinavian name. It's a really interesting point because I'm just going to geek out a little bit here, but
You go nuts.
I'll go nuts. Yeah. So
Thanks.
when it's actually found that swearing is almost as pain relieving as painkillers, as some of the most effective painkillers. This is a true story. So
Did you read this on Facebook?
I didn't. No.
okay.
And so the studies actually show that when you use expressive language, you release particular hits of dopamine. So effectively, when you swear, they've found that it correlates to either like serotonin or dopamine releases in your brain. And so being being expressive and being open with your language and not being restricted has actually been found to be extremely therapeutic for mental health and expression. And they found that the most expressive people are often the most like the least mentally challenged or the most, oh my goodness gracious. Or the most like expressive, and they've found that using no limitations in your conversation with no boundaries has been really good for like societal structures as well. So
I
it's
find
interesting.
that feels very true, right? It's not so much the swearing; it's being able to be open,
Yeah.
and not having to hold back your language.
I mean, so there's studies that have been done because language is really subjective as well. So if you look at like the actor for Aragon, Viggo Mortensen, so he can speak like 9 languages, and it's really interesting to hear him speak because he speaks 9 languages fluently, like completely fluently, and he finds himself able to. What's going on? Crit. Are they talking about something specific? Oh my goodness
That's
gracious.
Rick.
Rick just got
2 shields.
2 shields, yeah, see, that's the thing. So they've actually found that Viggo Mortensen, for instance...
Tom Harper is indeed the complete package, I agree.
Yeah, so anyway, like Viggo Mortensen, for instance, finds that he can express himself in very different ways using different languages. So the brain signals that he's sending out while he's using languages, he finds therapeutic. So giving him the ability to speak 9 languages and express himself in all those systems is effectively just making him a more therapeutically
Expressive
beneficial
can be
person.
colourful language in the dictionary of multitudes of words for expression, but F and C are the lowest bar.
Well, that's actually all subjective.
That's
That's a
always
completely subjective thing.
Yeah, it just
right?
depends on where you grow up,
Yeah.
what situation you're in, and yeah.
It is. It's a very look. It's an interesting conversation, but it is subjective. So, I mean, I find racist slurs the lowest bar. Like
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
me, right? And I don't find that, like in terms of me being expressive. Jeez, the comments just keep coming. But yeah, look, it's a really subjective thing. Could you update the overlay? Yeah, absolutely. I think we have.
not?
Let me go do a quick damage check.
Sorry, I get lost in the dream state of listening to Tom Harper talk. It's very hard to concentrate.
I think we all do.
We do, yeah, we all do. New Zealand?
matchup. It currently looks like 3 games going Queensland's way, 1 going New Zealand's way, too close to call.
Interesting. Thank you, man. So, just had an update. Just had an update on the Queensland-New Zealand matchup. Apparently, Queensland is looking like 3 games up. New Zealand is looking like 1 game up, and the other 2 are very close. So that is a massive result for Queensland if that actually ends that way. So the Black Sun would have taken a few shots there, yeah.
There we go. Should be done now. Yep. Cool.
So Queensland are looking way better than they expected against New Zealand. If they get...
Really?
If even a 3-3 against that team...
It will slow them down. Exactly. Yeah, so basically New Zealand had, excuse me, New Zealand had a couple quote-unquote easy matches yesterday, and now they're running into like the roadblocks.
Oh, you mean against New South Wales, right?
So New South Wales, again, was really close. They've actually probably got the best squads to counter New Zealand. So players like Morgan Reid were really surprised when they did go 2-4, because generally the aces and ace play can outplay and outlast a swarm. So I know that Jaron dropped his game on the last turn because he didn't turn out with Suntir and win for points. He turned in, got blocked and got
like
destroyed.
A thing Foss would do.
Yeah, and then unfortunately...
Mistakes were made.
Junior Minnow.
You right? I'm trying to level us out of it.
And I know that Just had a bump there. That's good. And I know that Travis lost his resistance game as well, and he was looking strong. And then unfortunately just lost the attrition game.
Any New South Wales loss is good for me.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
But yeah, everybody is concerned about the New Zealand matchup, and a 3-3 would be ideal.
Yeah.
If we end up getting up against them, that would be amazing.
Is it looking that way?
Yeah, Jason just came and told me that 3 games look like they're going Queensland's way.
Yep.
1 game looks like it's going New Zealand's way,
Yep.
and 2 are really close.
Okay, cool. So
if
at worst, it's a 3-3.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Bad
I guess there's still
dice
half
can
an hour
happen,
to go.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, if we get up on them, that is a massive boost for us because we still have the easy matchups left to go, right? That would be the 4th of the 4 real bad matchups we had lined up,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it's,
So you've already played New South Wales? Yes.
Yeah, so we've played Singapore, New South Wales, Victoria, and now New Zealand.
Yeah.
So if we get up on this, yeah, I like,
Yeah,
you
it
like
had
how I ignored
like a
it
little twitch.
You like how I ignored it completely?
But yeah, we've got Jason Gemmell on the floor doing the judge calls for
Yes.
this round, so he'll be able to do that for us. I actually have to paint a whole bunch of tokens as well, so I'll get them on the stream and hand them out.
I got given the full set yesterday. They're actually really nice.
They are beautiful. Yeah, there's a matte finish on the tokens that we've done for.
How good is it?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And these beautiful magnetic tray tables. So this is what the winners will be receiving this year. So they're a beautiful magnet lid, and you can put all your tokens and stuff like that inside. And it's a really nice matte finish as well. So we got 6 of them for the winning players, and people are really excited about these, and so am I, to give them out.
I mean, I would be.
You'd be
but
excited?
there wasn't one for the coach, so
Yeah, sorry, mate.
thanks.
Well, you're assuming that Queensland will win. Who won
course
out
I
of
am.
who won out of the New South Wales Queensland matchup?
3-3. As expected.
Was it?
Oh, it almost always is.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. They're both super close. They're both, like, in my opinion, they're the two best teams, right? I know,
I would agree with you.
yeah, like,
All good? Yep.
I would say that North Queensland are over.
North Australia.
So North Australia are over Victoria 3-2 with 1 game, 2 plays.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
And we have a Trade Federation drone that took 9 damage cards.
A Trade Federation drone took 9 damage cards.
so I did like how you put North Australia and not North Queensland.
Yeah, it's North Australia. So we're setting it up, right? So like eventually Western Australia is a really big state, right? So, you know, Southwestern Australian players, Northwestern Australian players,
Right.
if anyone still lives in the Northern Territory and plays X-Wing for some reason, and
Come
the far
join in.
yeah, and the far north Queensland players as well. So the hope is that North Australia, the team, will actually grow into more than just
Right.
North
More than just
Queensland, and that's why we chose to call it North Australia.
Okay.
So we're just trying to accommodate. Australia's huge. I keep saying this for any international listeners. So we're just trying to accommodate the broad, like, northern reach of it.
People don't quite understand how big it is.
No, they really
You know,
don't.
if you add up the mass, you can fit the entirety of Europe into Australia twice.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it is ridiculously big. Like, I find New South Wales is too large. Queensland's larger, and Western Australia is like 3 times the size. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's disgusting. Wide Unplugged, yes, Singapore does need a couple of good rounds. They're actually still in the running. The top 4 are all really in the mix. It just depends on how today's matchups go. New South Wales is up against the Free Folk right now. Is that Casey Millwoods?
Yeah.
But I just saw that. Thanks, mate. Yeah, if you guys want to check out Imperial Propaganda Radio, I'm one of the co-hosts, along with Casey's doing all of our fantastic editing.
There's like 12 hosts on
Yeah,
there
there's
now,
quite a
isn't
few.
there?
Yeah. And I got tabled recently, so I've handed out some templates. Thanks for bringing it up, mate. I really
No worries.
appreciate it.
No worries.
New Zealand is closer to New South Wales than WA. We be thick. Yeah, exactly. It's huge.
Okay.
Yeah. So really, we should be calling Western Australia like a different part of a different country.
I mean, we already do, right?
It is. It is
West
effectively.
Australia.
Yeah, West Australia, exactly. Okay, so we've had a bump in. I don't think he actually decided to regenerate shields there, unless he didn't put the token down. But I do see a weapons disabled token up the top there. So I might just quickly run and do a points update one more time,
Absolutely.
and I'll have a look at the New Zealand Queensland matches, and we'll get it updated.
Thanks, man.
I'll text you on your phone.
Don't do that. Fuck.
Damage update.
All right. All right. How did you? Is that mine or yours? Oh. That. I thought that was me.
Yeah. That's like an extended desktop.
Yeah. Right. Of course. I'm calling NZ New South Wales in the final. I mean, I hope you're wrong, but you could be right. You could be very right. So NZ Australia is the West Island. No. No. Okay. Wedge. OB regens a shield, everything else is up to date. Fantastic. What is that token that I can't see there? Yeah, that's right. Obi does not does not want to give up any points in this game. He's looking for a 200 zip, I'm sure. I didn't quite catch that. So that's a K-turn. Oh, they don't have a K-turn. They have a Talon roll, of course. Michael is really up against it here and has been since the first round of combat. It was tragic.
Okay.
I'm picturing a Black Sun Assassin getting removed this turn. We'll just have to see what this is.
How many people do we have watching right now?
27.
Cool. 27 people. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Okay, so...
What is Plo Koon blue?
Because we're trying to look at the target locks.
Oh, the target lock colours.
Yeah. So you can see that Plo Koon's got the Black Sun Assassin locked right now. You're going to make him purple? Nice. Man, I really slept badly on my neck last night. It's just destroying me. Gonna have to get a Foss massage, I think.
That doesn't look as purple on the screen as it does on here. A Foss massage?
Yeah.
I don't.
The worst kind of
I don't
massage.
think I want to know what that is.
So Obi-Wan has gotten another shield back here. I think Rick. I mean, I know Rick really wanted to try and get that kill shot on the Black Sun Assassin, but taking the shields was hard.
I feel like that's a mistake.
What the
Taking the shield there.
on the Black Sun Assassin? Yeah, probably.
So this is.
Oh, it's Plo. My bad.
Sorry.
It's Plo's got the weapons disabled, not Obi-Wan.
Oh, he put it on the
yeah.
wrong
Okay,
one.
so
Right.
I'm gonna get rid of that. Have we been tracking the wrong damage?
Maybe.
I thought we had it pretty good.
So Obi should have one shield, right? And I don't even know if Plo's taken a shot. I'm trying to hear.
Oh, you got the thing. Yeah, so the match between Queensland and New Zealand is really close, really close. Quinton looked like he's up
So
against
that's
it.
Obi-Wan wiped out the Black Sun.
Obi
So
wiped out
this
the Black
will
Sun.
be Rick on Dalen, and
Yep.
he still manages to
Two damage.
do two.
2 damage, Jesus. Okay, so he's down.
Jesus.
That was a bad roll. Okay, actually, it was a good roll with the wrong modifiers.
crack shot.
And then we've got... I'm just going to do the last damage update. 1 second.
That should. Okay.
Because Plo... I think we did the wrong damage tracking.
I think you've. The best background noise is Tom Harper. I could listen to his sultry tones all day. Nobody got me a coffee this morning. Fucking.
No one asked you?
No one asked me.
What have they said?
That everybody loves you.
Oh, really? No, they didn't. You're lying. Okay, so we do... yeah, we do have the stats correct, apparently.
Oh, we
so
do?
you've done a good job.
Thanks, man.
No worries. Oi, oi, oi.
Someone's in trouble.
My neck is in trouble. Okay, so I reckon we see some... what? I had a long night last night, Mark.
Just thinking inappropriate thoughts.
Yeah. So what do we reckon we do with Obi-Wan Kenobi? I think the disengage is such a good... The yellow delta, yeah. Disengage is just so good, or like a slow move. Yeah, so... Oh, wow. That's so savage.
This is what he pulled in the first round of combat.
Oh, my goodness.
Michael was expecting him to go hard and pull up the table, and he just went, no, straight 2.
Yeah, I think that will probably...
Have this.
This will probably be the last
Absolutely.
round.
So he's just put a target lock on there. Force target lock, 4 dice.
Yeah,
buy
unless
down.
Michael gets a real, like, good, solid roll, I think it's probably over.
And if I'm right, Desmond has just put Rick straight over that gas player.
Yep.
0 fucks given.
Yep, trying to give, like, a...
So how fast? What's the fastest blue straight?
3 forward, which is
0
done.
fucks given.
Yeah, and does he have Predator? No, he's got Crackshot, which might actually line up. Doesn't really matter if you move wherever you want, Desmond. It doesn't matter.
But he's
Yeah, no, he won't have the lineup, but he'll get the good shot. So if he can shoot,
I don't think he'll need it.
if he can shoot with Rick first, Plo, of course.
Boom.
Hands over the
Have
tokens.
that.
What a monster.
I wonder who he's going to do first. Is he going to waste the time, or is he going to go straight for Anakin? Obi-Wan. Jesus.
Oh, that's at
Spend
least
the
1
force.
damage. And
Spend
that
the force.
is a full house.
Spend the focus.
So he just takes 1 damage.
Jesus.
So we have 1 left on Dallin, and this is going to be
And
the
Rick's
Rick
going to take
shot.
a focused range 3. Did they measure it?
I don't think they measured it, no. So it's just 1 hit so far that I can see. Just 1. So
Don't you dare blank
Oh
out.
my goodness,
gosh.
that's game.